Meditation is not that one can do. That what is in a deeper sense, meditation is that what happens. That what we do as meditation is a certain preparation. The preparation to make oneself available for life, available for the nature, available for the mystery, available for the divine. In the usual way of going about life, we are used to interfering in so many ways with all what comes. Judging, struggling, arguing, fighting, holding back. It is part of a strategy and tendency of the ego, which is in the survival program. That is up to a certain stage valuable and relevant, because that gives the foundation for being in the game of the world and to come in terms with it, to get a feeling of at ease, at home in the game of the duality. But the fact is, we cannot settle in this game. And settle in our roles and concepts. Because the very nature of the game is such that everything is changing and moving. And that the whole aliveness, the whole dynamism, the whole beauty, the whole playfulness is possible only because there is a polarity. So it is the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, the higher and the lower, which in the human concept are creating a polarity, as well as the polarity which is existing in the natural process of birth and death. Of light and darkness. Of the different genders of woman and man. That is creating the framework for the interplay. But we need to become familiar with another way of being with life. When we want to become capable to experience life the way it really is. And that is an inner quality of silence, an inner state where one is being with the reality of life without trying to categorize it, without trying to judge it, without trying to put it in any kind of label. That means where the mind is quiet. This inner quietness is required so that we can become more deeply available in a non-interfering, direct and deep way. So it is possible for us when we are encountering all those factors which pull us automatically and unconsciously into all kind of roles and goals, and learn to observe it without identifying with it. So when you are not identifying with the mind but just watching it, you are coming closer to your essential nature. And this is what makes it possible for the human being in a deep sense to relax and get familiar with another dimension of one's reality, which is deeper and basic. That is the non-dualistic foundation of the life process itself. As long as we are in any state of identification, even in the subtlest form, there is a division. There is the idea of the I, and there is a definition which we hold around it, and the outside. And this so-called I, howsoever subtle it may be, it still is an assertion which is in the dualistic level and which is part of birth and death. So there is always a tension when there is the fear of death, the fear of disappearance. That is why only when we can consciously learn to observe everything without identifying with any aspect, with the body, with the thoughts, with the emotions, with the energy process, be it a positive feeling or a negative feeling, be it a comfortable state or an uncomfortable state. When we are not clinging to the comfortable, nor trying to run away from the uncomfortable, that what is naturally taking place in us, when we can remember to observe it without identifying with it, that creates the foundation for a deep availability to life. And meditation happens in these moments when we are deeply available, wakeful, and receptive. That is why it is said that what we can do as meditation is a preparation to be available in a deeper sense to life. And the real meditation is a happening, it is not our doing. It is what life makes possible. The Zen mystic Bhashkar has been presenting it in a haikus, which are short poems which indicate something without being prosaic about it, without making it into any kind of logical, rational argument. And one of these haikus says, sitting quietly, doing nothing, spring comes and the grass grows by itself. It is deeply insightful and valuable for the one who is seeking to experience the reality, to experience the truth. That our part is to create the state of silence, sitting quietly, doing nothing. That is the state what requires our alertness, willingness, and initiative. When we take care of that, then the second part, the spring comes and the grass grows by itself. There are many subtle aspects about this haiku, and one of them is, for example, he's not trying to make it a big issue. He's indicating it that it is a natural process. When we are not interfering, we are capable to receive what life is revealing. And just like spring is coming naturally, and in the spring without any effort, life sprouts up. And the grass grows by itself. He didn't even say the big trees and flowers and all that. He just said the grass, this not so important appearing manifestation, because grass grows almost everywhere when there is some space. So he's not trying to make it into a new desire to achieve. He simply says, this is in the way of the nature, that when you don't interfere and become deeply available, that what is significant happens. These are indications to seekers who are very carefully and respectfully approaching life. These are sacred statements. That is why it is poetic. It is not trying to argue and convince, but just giving hints. And that is also one very important thing to remember, that what is deeply significant can happen only when we are in a graceful, respectful, non-aggressive inner state. Being open to life, being available without in any way bringing any demands as to what has to happen. But this is the experience of all who has gone deeper into this state of availability, that when you don't interfere, life brings that what is deeply fulfilling, that what is utterly liberating. That is also the sense behind the sitting. When we sit, we are not trying to achieve anything or manage anything, but it is a gentle and conscious availability what is behind it. So don't cling to the pleasant in terms of comfortability and sleepiness, because sleep also is a certain kind of pleasure. And in clinging to the sleep, there is a certain attachment to the dualistic process. Accept the sleepiness when it comes, but watch it. Don't cling to it from your side. And in the same way, don't try to fight against any aspects, be it a strange thought or this or that. Simply watch it and let it pass by. Don't hold to it, don't fight against it. And that is the way you become rooted in the consciousness without identifying with any aspect. And this is the quality, this is the orientation which is in the sense of silent sitting.